The World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Fund have evacuated 76 staff working on the Ebola epidemic from the town of Beni in the Democratic Republic of Congo due to the worsening security situation. Rebels believed to belong to the Allied Democratic Forces killed 8 people in an overnight raid on Sunday. Residents angry at the perceived inaction of both the government and the UN peacekeeping mission then said that the mayor's office and several UN buildings on fire, killing 2 people. WHO spokesman Christian Lindmeier says 49 non-essential staff have been flown to the eastern city of Goma, where they will continue working. UNICEF has also temporarily relocated 27 staff, leaving 12 back in Beni. The World Health Organization says about 360 people are at risk of having Ebola after contact with an infected person in eastern Congo, and many of them are out of reach due to clashes and insecurity.
UNICEF Ebola coordinator in Goma, Grant Liti, joins us now to discuss this. Many thanks for joining us on TVC News at 7. The Democratic Republic of Congo has had 10 outbreaks of Ebola since 1976. Now that actually is massive. What are your reactions to the implication of taking out these health workers at this time, considering the epidemic in that part of the world?
Yes, good evening. Many thanks. Just the first important thing to clarify is that we have decided to temporarily redeploy for operational purposes our non-essential staff from Beni. It has been a fairly turbulent few days, but we do not believe that until now we have not had any of our officers, any of our staff, any of our vehicles targeted. We are clearly in a different position to the UN peacekeeping mission, MONUSCO, who have indeed been very directly targeted. But nevertheless, the conditions have not been easy to continue operations. So we leave our essential staff to carry out skeleton activities, and we wait for the situation to improve. And then our colleagues are already there will be a first wave going back in tomorrow.
All right,
so
and from your interaction,
retake.
Right, from your interaction with the authorities there, are there assurances about better security situations such that you can carry out your work without hassle?
There are negotiations going on today. In fact, the governor and the Minister of Interior have visited Beni. So there are very active discussions going on. Clearly, we need to understand what is being contributing to this reaction. You mentioned, your colleague mentioned the ADF attacks. And this is clearly very, this is something which is a huge impact to the local population, especially to the north of Beni, but there have been a few direct strikes on Beni itself. So we also need to look at the other humanitarian needs and how do we respond to those in that conflict-affected area.
All right, and what is the support coming from across the world to just ensure that we are able to reach the unreached at this very critical time?
Yeah, no, we indeed have a lot of mobilization. What we have done, just to explain, in terms of this operational redeployment, we actually have 8 offices where we have active Ebola operations going on right now. Some of these, there are 2 indeed that are, one is 45 minutes away, Mangina. The other one is 1 hour away, Butembo, and there are others going up. So it's really not difficult for us to temporarily redeploy colleagues in these areas, and then they are well poised to come back as soon as the conditions allow. Beni itself is not the actual current epidemic hotspot. Okay. There are 2 areas we are very concerned. One is around Mangina in Bingo and Ngoyo area, and the other one is an area slightly to the north of that, known as Luemba, And this is where we currently have the latest high caseload. So Beni is extremely important because it's connected with all of these areas, but in fact is not the current epicenter of the outbreak. So we are reinforcing our operations in these other areas, and we are already post, and as I mentioned, we will be starting to take some first wave back into Beni tomorrow.
Okay. UNICEF Ebola coordinator in Goma, Grant Leety, many thanks for joining us on TVC News at 7, and I wish you the best in your work.